Like I said, I am so pleased to have both candidates who are running for mayor. We're having a runoff because nobody got over 50% of the vote because we had four candidates running for mayor. So I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves to you. They each have about 10 minutes, which includes Q&A. So they may wish to stop a few minutes early and give you some time to ask some questions. Let me introduce to you Daniel Valenzuela, candidate for mayor.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back. How's everyone doing? Great. All right. I'm Daniel Valenzuela. Some of you may remember my story. I was born and raised in Phoenix. Attended 13 public schools, raised primarily by a single mom. It was tough. We attended more schools, we lived in more homes than schools attended by a lot. We got through it. So my path to becoming a mayoral candidate may not be this conventional path. It certainly wasn't an easy path, but I'm here now. And I've lived a childhood that makes me want a better future for your children and for all of our children. I'm running for mayor because I want everyone in this city to feel safe, regardless of where their neighborhood is in Phoenix. I'm running for mayor because I want a fully staffed police department and fire department. But I also want our first responders to have the training needed, the support needed to best serve our diverse community. 60 languages now spoken in the city of Phoenix. That's our strength. I'm running for mayor because I want our children to have lifelong learning opportunities, even outside of the classroom, which is why I created Code Phoenix. Every kid in Phoenix, between the ages of 4 and 17, get access to free coding, robotics, computer science in our classrooms. In our libraries. One day it'll be offered in the classrooms. But we're closing the gender gap because of it. When you look at these tech jobs in corporate America, there's an 80-20 split between male and female. There's also an opportunity gap. Not many people of color are in these positions. So far, of the hundreds of students in Phoenix that are taking advantage of those courses, nearly a 50-50 male-female ratio, and a true reflection of our diverse community. That is how we continue to become the hub of industry in the city. Healthcare, advanced manufacturing, information technology. Today's industries, the next industries. I want our youth to know that opportunity awaits them right here in Phoenix. We still have too many of our youth feeling like they have to leave home to chase their dreams. We don't want that. I do want to reserve a lot of time, as much time as possible. I've only been speaking for about 15 seconds, yes?
3 minutes.
Good, that's not bad. For Q&A, but I want to just share a couple more thoughts because we were talking about the campaign, man. Very nice lady asked me, "Is this your brother?" I said, "No, that's just the beginning of a campaign." But it's been great. It's been nostalgic. I find myself knocking on the same doors, literally, in the same neighborhoods that I spent just a few months of my life in. People are different. The hopes and the aspirations, the dreams are the same, right? Passing by this classroom or that classroom, that church. Find myself passing by a couple of different schools that are near downtown Phoenix that I attended, remembering the teachers and what I've learned and gazing out of the window toward downtown. And I remember wondering what those buildings in downtown were. City Hall, who they were. I wondered if they knew if I even existed. I wondered if my mom mattered to them. I'm looking around this room and I want you to know something. if you remember nothing else, I see you, you matter, and when I'm your mayor, you will have someone at City Hall that will constantly give back to this community and to this city everything that it's given me my entire life. Hope, opportunity, and jobs. Someone who is present. The city shaped me, made me the person I am today. A husband, a parent, a firefighter, lifelong public servant, former council member, even vice mayor. And now I'm asking for your support to be your next mayor. There is some historic significance to this race. I mean, we never had a firefighter be the mayor, although I do give you my commitment that when I am mayor, I will put my career as a firefighter on hold, and I'll only be your mayor. We've also never had a Latino mayor in the 5th largest city in the country. But I guess where do we stop, right? I'm sure we never had a mayor who knows what it's like to sleep in a cot next to his mom in a homeless shelter, or a mayor who knows what it's like to, take care of both parents, or whatever the case might be. At the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about the 13 public schools that I attended. It's about you. It's about your neighborhood. It's about where your children, where your grandchildren are going to school. Will they have the opportunities that you want for them to have, right? That's what it's about. Being the mayor of the city of Phoenix is about being a coalition builder and a problem solver. So anyway, that said, I'll reserve the last 8.5 minutes for any questions that you may have. Yes, ma'am.
You say you want to increase the police department to full capacity. How many are we short?
It's a good question. We have 500 police officers fewer today than 10 years ago. So when I first took office, January 3rd, 2012, I led an effort to help lift the hiring freeze. We had a hiring freeze in our city. And I don't know how you plan on having a thriving economy or opportunities for our children, safe parks. I mean, I don't know how we accomplish that if we're not hiring first responders. So we have lifted the hiring freeze. In fact, we've hired hundreds more officers. We have hundreds more today than just a few years ago. The issue is we lose between 60 and 100 officers every single year through attrition, retirements, and those types of things. So when you create a hiring freeze or implement a hiring freeze, we're playing catch up, right? So the goal, and that's just part of it. I gotta say, I will be fighting for, I've always fought for, bringing those staffing levels up for first responders. But it's critically important to also have the tough conversations in the community. There's some relationship issues right now. You need a mayor who's not afraid to have those conversations. Right? We have to make sure that our first responders are supported and staffed with the type of training needed to actually serve such a diverse community. That goes with recruitment. Where are we recruiting our police officers from? Right? What type of meetings are we having? Those kinds of things. But I hope I answered your question. Give you a little more there. Yes, ma'am.
This will sound like a rather dumb question, but what are the nuts and bolts duties of the mayor as you see them?
Yeah. The mayor, more than anything else, must be a coalition builder and a problem solver. You need to be the chief problem solver. The number one priority is to keep people safe. You start with that, right? And then, of course, you have infrastructure needs, education needs, and yes, education. Every campaign that I've run, city council in 2011, re-election in 2015, and even in this run for mayor, I've been told that education is not in the purview of local government. I absolutely disagree. I'm a parent, it's in our purview. We have libraries, right? Again, I created Code Phoenix. What we're gonna launch when I become your mayor is something called Upskill Phoenix. There's no reason we shouldn't have the largest short-term upskilled workforce in the nation. So many people in our community need a shift. They just need a short-term, training program to do that. Working with Maricopa Community Colleges as an example, that might be the difference between a job that's paying minimum wage and one that's paying just a few dollars more an hour. But that's part of the solution. I mean, our unemployment rate is lower than I remember. Homelessness is still up by 12%. Right? So the mayor sets the tone for this city. Again, it comes down to coalition building and problem solving. Mayor is one vote. And I'm proud to have support from the city council and two members of the city council and 3 former mayors, a Republican, an independent, and a Democrat, Remza, Gordon, and Johnson, and 7 Valley mayors in our community. If I may, I agree on the Paris Accord. That's one. Since taking office, the very first day, in a nonpartisan race, not being afraid to talk about that. It's a nonpartisan race. The idea is to extract the politics out of the issue every single time. You think it's easy to talk about the fact that we need 500 more cops when we had a record number of officer-involved shootings in 2018? No, real leadership is talking about it. Real leadership is trying to solve it. It's not about ideology, it's about problem solving. This is a nonpartisan race. So the best thing I will do as your mayor is to do everything in my power to prevent the ugly DC-style politics from entering local government. It has no place in local government. You know what ideology gets us? What is it, day 31? Day 31 of the government shutdown? Maybe our TSA employees and our Coast Guard and everyone else wouldn't need a little help if they would just get it together in Congress. If they just get it together in DC, do what they all campaign to do, right? Work together to actually solve a problem, right? But that's the goal, that's the idea. Local government is nonpartisan, and it's not always easy to talk about that. Not when you're running for office, right? But what you see is what you get. You're gonna have someone as your mayor who works to extract the politics out of the issue, see it for what it is, build a coalition, get public input, and move our city forward. I think I'm out of time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll walk over